know who your son's father is?
Why is this woman looking at 5 years behind bars for paternity fraud? Here's what happened.
Now, Ms. Sear, you say you have proof that Mr. Manser is Dylan's father. You argue you are here to prove again that he is the father of your son, to finally stop him running from his responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
So is she trying to make this man take responsibility and pay child support? But will it work out that way? She used to be friends with my aunt.
She was a friend of my aunt. She was best friends with my aunt. We all lived in the same little community. She lived across the street. I knew of her, I've spoken to her. But as far as intimacy, we was together one time, and I hate to be crude, but it was a one-night stand.
For nothing.
I don't think after all of this that has transpired, it really matters whether it was a one-night stand
Right.
or a
It does matter.
two-day trip.
My biggest concern.
The point is you all had a sexual relationship
Right.
at some point, so there is a possibility.
In hindsight, he says it was just a one-night stand while she believed they were in a relationship. Either way, he could still be the father of her son,
So
Dylan.
you
did
showed
that,
up
huh?
for court, and what
No,
happened?
I wasn't
No, he
able
didn't
to. I wasn't
show up.
able to show up for court. I was completely on the other side of the state. I was indigent. I was living at my mom's, didn't have a job at the time. So I didn't show up for court, and I was named the natural father by...
He missed the trial, so the court ruled him the father by default. Seizing the moment, the woman took advantage of the situation.
Where's the proof? I've yet to see proof that the child's mine. He said that they obtained my DNA through a sample that was already on file. That's what she's claiming.
So who's in the right and who's in the wrong? That's tough to determine. But the fact that she works at the lab raises even more doubts.
I hadn't met him until he was like 15 years after I initiated contact
11.
for my son, Chris. I wanted to...
So wait,
But I
now
paid-
are
I
you
paid the ultimate
convinced he
price
is the
for that
father?
possibility.
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Because I have had a DNA test done, and I have the results right here. Would you like a
Wasn't I
copy of
supposed
it?
The case took another turn when new tests were done, this time with both alleged parents involved to verify if he is the father.
I mean,
Ms. Sear, your evidence clearly states that there was a laboratory test performed.
Yes, ma'am.
I see here.
I don't think it happened. I think she worked in the lab and that she's had this thing manufactured. So...
Actually, at that time, I worked at a plasma center. I harvested plasma with 16-gauge needles. Had nothing to do with DNA.
I'm sure that, you know, when you're in a business, you know other people
Now,
that's
what's
in a business.
interesting to me is that for alleged father, it's entirely blank.
That's right.
Meaning
Imagine that.
there is no social security number.
That's right.
There is no address.
She forgot to
There
put
is
that
no
part in there.
information about you. It's all blank. There's no picture of you. There's no photograph.
She didn't have that information. That's right. Exactly.
So, obviously, your contention that you didn't show up, you weren't there for this particular test is
You're
true.
right.
Because there's no evidence that you were there on that
That's exactly
day.
right. Thank
We've
you, Your
established
Honor.
that.
Thank you.
We do, however, see a lab record of a collection taken on May the 1st, 1995, which they claim was you.
How are you?
Thank you for joining us. Now, Dylan, I want to know about your relationship with your father.
I feel I don't know him that well.
We don't. We don't know each other.
Go ahead, son.
I love Chris though. We've spent a lot of time together.
Your brother.
Yep.
We're gonna be brothers no matter what. No matter what happens after today.
I can't respect someone talking so much harmful to my mother like
And
that.
that's what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to do that.
What do you want from today, Dylan?
I haven't seen either one of them in over a year now.
Daughter on the way.
I have a daughter due in November.
So this man could be both the father and the grandfather, or he might not be related at all. Muhammad Abbas. He felt relieved when the DNA test confirmed he wasn't Dylan's father, but what happened next was truly shocking.
DNA diagnostics, and because this is a very special case, and we've had previous DNA testing done in which our plaintiff questions the chain of custody of the specimen, the actual sample that was collected.
Right. No, there's no doubt the results of this.
You filled out the proper forms.
That's right.
Including your names, date of birth, social security number,
That's right.
and you signed them, right?
ma'am.
Yep.
You presented photo IDs.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
there wasn't a friend of mine there either.
Not
That's
a
why these
friend
will be
there.
accurate.
The lab, because of the sensitivity of this issue, ran 2 tests.
Nice.
The results are as follows. In the case of Manser versus Sear, Mr. Manser, you are not
Oh, God.
his father.
He served 5 years in prison for not paying child support for a child that wasn't his. He suspects the original test was tampered with, leading to his wrongful punishment, but the story doesn't end there.
Years in prison. Dylan, I'm sorry, bro. This is why. This is why I did what I did.
this is
She should be convicted of some crime.
No, I should not. I didn't.
That
Mr.
is
Manser,
fraud.
Mr. Manser,
That is fraud.
I know you're upset. Miss Sear, do you know?
Yes, ma'am.
You know who his father is.
Yes, I talk to him still.
5 years in prison. And then I say, do you know who your son's father is? And you say, yes, I'm still in touch with him. That is a really huge pill to swallow.
But the DNA results told a different story. Her confidence shattered as the truth unraveled, leaving her with no defense. The man she deceived stood firm, his trust forever broken. This case took a shocking twist. What are your thoughts? Drop a comment below. If you love analyzing cases like this, be sure to like and subscribe. In this paternity fraud case, Miss Sear is determined to prove that Mr. Manor is the father of her son, Dylan, and wants him to take responsibility by paying child support. She insists she has evidence of his paternity. Mr. Manor claims the relationship was just a one-night stand, although Miss Sear believed they were dating. Due to his inability to attend the initial court hearing, the court ruled him Dylan's father by default. He argues that the DNA test used was obtained without his knowledge, and he questions its validity, especially since Miss Sear has worked in a lab for years. Miss Sear, however, insists the test was conducted properly and not linked to her work. The court documents also contain missing information, such as Mr. Manor's photo and address, adding more confusion to the case. Both parties continue to dispute the truth, leaving the final outcome up in the air. The story continues with a lab record showing a DNA collection taken on May 1, 1995, which the lab claims belongs to Mr. Manor. However, both parents recently submitted to new DNA testing to finally determine the truth. Dylan, the son in question, expressed that he doesn't have a strong relationship with his father, Mr. Manor. He shared that he is close with his brother, Chris, and emphasized they will remain brothers no matter the outcome. Dylan also voiced frustration about harmful remarks made about his mother, hoping for a respectful resolution. In a surprise twist, Dylan revealed that he is expecting a daughter in November, potentially making Mr. Manor both a father and a grandfather. However, the results could still prove otherwise. Given the sensitivity of the case and past concerns about the chain of custody for previous DNA tests, the lab took extra precautions this time. Both parties provided proper identification, signed forms, and followed strict protocols. To ensure accuracy, the lab ran 2 separate tests. The results are now ready to be revealed in the case of Manor. Will they finally resolve this family's long-standing questions?